Hello, and welcome to week 1 of HSCI 60-63. This week's session covers the role of statistics in research, types of data, and descriptive statistics. You're expected to read chapter 3 of your textbook to understand the main concepts of this week. Completion of the reading, please work on the practice problems and do not hesitate to contact me if you have any questions regarding this week's topics. Before we get into the full discussion of statistics, I would like to start the course by defining statistics. Statistics is both the art and science of learning from data. Data could be any observation that one has collected, including people, animals, inanimate objects, or events. Data and statistics are very correlated topics, and the field of statistics covers all aspects of data, including its collection, organization, presentation, description, interpretation, and above all, drawing conclusions from it. Statistics has a major role in research, and statistical methods and analysis are often used to communicate research findings and support hypotheses and give credibility to research methodology and conclusions. It's important for researchers and also consumers of research to understand statistics so they could be informed, evaluate the credibility and usefulness of information, and make appropriate decisions. Chapter 1 of your textbook covers several uses of statistics in research and in medicine. Upon completion of this course, we want you to be the best consumers of statistics, and I believe you would be able to evaluate literature, to apply study results to patient care, to interpret vital statistics, to understand epidemiologic problems, and to interpret information about drugs and equipment, and etc. Statistics has two broad categories. There are descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. Descriptive statistics is a branch of statistics that focuses on presenting, organizing, and summarizing data. Descriptive statistics are values that describe the characteristics of a sample or a population. The other branch of statistics is inferential statistics, which focuses on drawing conclusions about a larger population based on a sample data, provided that the sample is representative of the data. The concentration of this week will be descriptive statistics. To descriptively characterize the data, first we have to understand the type of data that we have. There are three types of data: nominal, ordinal, and numerical. Nominal data, it's also often characterized as categorical or qualitative data. It is a data that's described as two or more categories, but these categories are not in any inherent ordering. Examples could be gender, male or female, or hair color, brown, black, blonde, gray, or other. It could be any categorized variable that doesn't require any ordering. There are different ways to describe nominal data. They're often described as proportions, percentages, ratios, or rates. Proportion is when a part is divided by a whole. A percentage is a proportion multiplied by 100%. Ratios are when the number of observations in a group with a given characteristics is divided by the number of observations without a given characteristics. Rates are very similar to proportions, but they are computed over a specified period of time. For example, say we have a class with 30 students, of which 10 are female and 20 are male. The proportion of male subjects in the class would be 20 divided by 30, which is 0.67. And the percentage of male students in the class would be 67%, which is 0.67, which is the proportion multiplied by 100%. The ratio of male to female in the class would be 20 divided by 10, which is 2. The other type of data is ordinal data. Ordinal data are categorical variables with meaningful order. They're often numbered, but the intervals between the values may not be equal. A good example could be a customer satisfaction survey with the question, "How satisfied are you with our service?" The responses to this question could be presented as ordinal using values 1, very unsatisfied, 2, somewhat unsatisfied, 3, neutral, 4, somewhat satisfied, and 5, very satisfied. Similar to nominal data, ordinal data are also often described using percentages. There are times that they're described using medians. We'll discuss about medians in the subsequent slides. The third and the most useful type of data is numerical data. This is the most precise level of measurement. It includes metrics that can be measured using numerical scale instead of classification. Examples of numerical data could be age or weight, size, height, or anything that could be numerically measured. Numerical data is also often termed as quantitative or parametric. Numerical data is described using central tendency or dispersion. Central tendency measures the degree of clustering of values of a statistical distribution. It's a measure that tells us where the middle of a bunch of data lies. Measures of central tendency include the mean, the mode, and the median. The mean is arithmetic average of observations. It's the sum of individual observations divided by the number of observations. The median is the middle observation. That's the point at which half the observations are smaller and half are larger. The mode is the value that occurs most frequently. Mean is a good statistic when the data has no outliers. When there are outliers, mean is not a robust tool, and median is a better. Let's look at an example. Let's look at two classes of students with 10 subjects each. And let's say the variable of interest is age. Let's assume that the two classes have the same students with the same age except one of the students in class 2 reported the age to be 999, which is obviously an outlier. If we calculate the average age of the students in class 1, which is calculated as the sum of the age of each of the 10 subjects divided by 10, which is the number of students in the class, it would be 22.6. However, if we calculate the mean for the class 2 subjects in similar way, the mean would come out to be 120, and this is because the mean is affected by the outlier, which is 999. However, if you look at the median, for both the classes, the median age is 23. And that's why median is better suited for data that has outliers. The other way of describing numerical data, as I mentioned earlier, is dispersion or variability. The measures of central tendency are not adequate to describe data. Two datasets can have the same mean, but they can be entirely different. Thus, to describe data, one needs to know the extent of variability, which require measures of dispersions. In statistics, dispersion is also called as variability, scatter, spread. It denotes how stretched or squeezed a distribution of a data is. Measures of variability include range, variance, standard deviation, interquartile range, and coefficient of variation. Range is the difference between the largest and the smallest observations. It's often used when the purpose is to emphasize extreme values of a distribution. Variance measures how far observations are spread out. Standard deviation is the average distance of values from the mean. Interquartile range is the difference between the 25th and 75th percentiles of a distribution. Coefficient of variation measures the variation relative to the size of the mean. The other topics that we would like to look into for this week are skewness and kurtosis. Skewness measures how symmetrical the distribution of a variable or a data is. Skewness is calculated as the mean minus the median divided by the standard deviation. If the mean is greater than the median, then it shows a positively skewed data. This means that most values in the distribution are concentrated on the left of the mean and the extreme values to the right. If the mean is less than the median, then it shows that it's a negatively skewed data, which shows that most values are concentrated on the right of the mean and with extreme values to the left. If the mean and the median are equal, then it shows data that's not skewed. In this scenario, mean is the best statistics to use. Kurtosis measures peakedness or flatness of a distribution. Peak distribution shows lots of the samples are very similar, and a flat distribution shows that samples are spread out. This chapter also covers about graphical presentation of descriptive data. Please read about them and let me know if you have any questions. The chapter talks about stem and leaf plots, histograms, box plots, and scatter plots. The last section of your textbook. The last section in chapter 3 of your textbook also discusses about prevalence, incidence, and the details about relationship between two characteristics. Please read about them as well, but please note that we will cover the relationship between two variables in later sections during this course, and you are not expected to know the details by the end of this week.